So welcome to my channel. If you are a returning person, then thank you, it means a lot that you're coming back. And if you are new, my name's Hannah. I make content about theatre, about travel, about sort of solo travel, books, pretty much anything I will talk about on here. For the last couple of weeks I've been doing a lot more sort of vlog adjacent content. I had a video a couple of weeks ago went up about a trip I did to Brighton. That did really well. I did another weekend vlog last week which I called the Weekend Diaries, but usually I like to do like a sit down video like this. I've just not had anything to talk about for the last couple of weeks, hence the more vlog style content. But when I was home on the weekend, I was at my parents' last weekend and I was having a sort out of some of my stuff from when I used to live back with my parents, and I came across some old show programmes which I did show briefly in my last video, and someone commented on that video saying it would be really great to hear more about this show that I'm going to talk about today, which is Starlight Express. So I found this, which is my Starlight Express programme from the Troubadour Wembley Park run, which has now finished. But I thought that was a really good thing to talk about because I went to see this production twice and it has just announced a tour, and the person who left the comment said they saw it when it first sort of premiered in the 80s and they would love to hear a bit more about this production, and that seemed like something I could talk about. It was also something I was really interested in talking about because the changes to the show is something that really sort of interests me, and I feel like I've got something to say on whether people should book tickets or not if you hear what I have to say now, and maybe it'll help decide when it comes to booking tickets for this world tour. And I also just wanted to put a couple of thoughts in here as well about how I think that's going to work, because it is a big show to tour. So that is the plan for this video. I am really happy to be sat down again with my camera because I do struggle filming out in public. I'm not the most consistent, for one. I do keep forgetting to film stuff, but also I get very nervous and self-confident filming outside, especially filming myself. So the last couple of videos have been a bit light on the me talking to camera side of things. So we'll get cracking on this video because that is why you've clicked, and yeah, we'll just see where it goes. So like I just mentioned, I went to see this production twice while it was in London. I saw it on the 6th of July 2024 and then really quite soon after on the 17th of August 2024. The first time was for my mum's birthday. She loves Starlight Express, so when it was coming back I managed to get tickets for the weekend after her birthday. And then that was a bit of a weird time because I think the week after that me and my family went to Florida for 2 weeks, and then I came back, and about 2 weeks after that I went to see the Eras tour in London and went to see that with a friend, and she also really wanted to see Starlight Express, so the day after that we went to see the show, which is why I went to see it twice in 2 months. I didn't see it after that, I haven't seen it since. I didn't see it before it closed after that, so it has been a while since I saw this production, but I think I remember enough about it to be able to talk. So the revival that's just happened was quite significantly changed from what I understand from the original show. So originally it was mounted in the 80s and it was sort of known at the time as one of the most dangerous musicals, because if you don't know, Starlight Express is about a child's toy train set that comes to life in his imagination. So all of the trains are played by actors on roller skates, and they're doing some quite intense roller skating, speed roller skating, as they're acting out the races that are happening in this child's dreams. It's a bit nuts. You sort of have to suspend your disbelief a bit for it. It is like peak 80s Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. So it's not for everyone. When we went to see it for my mum's birthday, we did take my dad with us, and he's not a massive musical person, so he was a little bit out of his depth, I think. But it is really good fun. You probably know most of the songs from it. They are sort of iconic mega musical songs now. It is a big show. It was in the Troubadour Wembley Park this time, which is a theatre which I believe is a temporary structure. I think there's a couple more shows going into it towards the end of this year. And then I think that area has been sort of marked for redevelopment or just development. So I think there might be like planning application for a block of flats or something to go into that space. So the space is very adaptable because it is basically just a shell, and then they sort of fitted it out exactly with what they needed. So the stage had 2 tracks coming off it, and there were sort of spokes off it as well. So there was entrances people could roller skate down. Both times I saw it, I was in the sort of front section of seats. So we had a bit of track going behind us, down the side of us, and it was really strict on like, do not lean on the stage, don't put anything on the stage. And once you were in, you were sort of trapped in as well, because there was just constantly cast members roller skating past. So they sort of touted it as an immersive show. I take issue with that. I don't think it was immersive necessarily. Just because people are skating around you or an actor comes out into the audience doesn't make it immersive. Also, sorry, I've got a pen in my hand. That's why I keep sort of flicking it. I'll try and stop that. That is really annoying. But yeah, I don't think it was immersive per se, but you were very close to the action of it. So this show developed a bit of an intense following on social media, specifically with a younger audience. And I think that is because for this version of the show, they changed a lot of the designs of the characters completely. So the costumes were a lot brighter, they were a lot more cartoony, I want to say. I mean, they're people pretending to be trains, it was never going to be hyper realistic, but it does sort of lean more on that cartoony level of things. I will find some pictures now in the programme to show you, if there are any. So I should have thought about this and sort of scanned these pictures in and then put them into the video, but there's a page here of character designs, so I think you can see that. So I mean, if you are into theatre and you've been on TikTok in the last 3 years, you will have seen these designs everywhere. On my TikTok, which I will link to in the description, I've got 2 of the mega mixes. So the 2 that I saw I filmed, so you'll get an idea of sort of what it looks like. But because of, I think, this sort of slightly younger design and the updated score and everything, I think it was just really speaking to a much younger crowd. I'm quite glad I went to see it before it sort of took off in that level, because I know there was some quite intense fan interactions that came out of this show, which sort of threw me, because at the time when this was first staged in the 80s, it was seen as like not a massively serious show because of the subject matter. It's just a little bit bonkers. But yeah, it seemed to do really well this time, and I think off the back of that, with there being such a lot of reworking going into this production, so the whole new design, a lot of new songs, new scoring and all sorts, and then a really positive reaction, they announced a world tour off the back of it. And I'm so intrigued by this. I didn't actually check before filming this video if it's been on a tour before, but regardless of that, it's announced its first 6 venues. I did check this before filming this. So it is announced that in 2027, Starlight Express will be going to the Leicester Curve Theatre from the 9th to the 22nd of May, the Liverpool Empire from the 26th of May to the 12th of June, Glasgow Theatre Royal from the 16th of June to the 3rd of July, Sunderland Empire from the 14th of July to the 31st of July, Birmingham Hippodrome from 11th of August to the 11th of September, and the Southampton Mayflower from the 15th of September to the 25th of September. I cannot get over how short some of these runs are. This is a massive show, especially on stages that aren't designed for it. The Troubadour was, like I said, the stage was designed for this show. The audience sort of orientation was designed for the show. Some of these, I mean, the Southampton run is 10 days, and they've only got 5 days between the Birmingham run ending and the Southampton run starting to get set up and comfortable in the space, which just seems insanely tight. I can't imagine this is going to be a cheap show to tour. Just by nature of the thing, it is so physically demanding on its cast. It's going to be a big cast touring. It's a big set touring. It's a lot of costumes touring. I mean, I think the longest run there is in Birmingham from 11th of August to 11th of September, which is still only a month, which I think will sell out. I will be looking at getting tickets to the Southampton run, just because that's not a huge journey from where I am. It only seems to be going to what I think is bigger theatres. I mean, I've not been to Leicester, Glasgow, Sunderland or Birmingham, but I mean, the Mayflower is a big touring venue in sort of this part of the country. So I will be going to that. I did have a quick look at tickets. So for the Southampton stop, tickets go on sale this Friday, the 22nd. I don't know when you'll be seeing this. You might actually be seeing this before that goes up. Yeah, you'll be seeing this before then. I'm filming this on Wednesday. It's the 20th at the moment. But the Southampton tickets go on sale on the 22nd, but you can already see the price bands, or like the highest and lowest price bands. So tickets will apparently be between £25 and £60 on weekdays, and then £25 and £70 Friday to Sundays. So the end of the week it does get slightly more expensive. £70 is not that much for one of these tickets. I think the first time I went I paid £75 for a ticket, and I think the second time I went we may have paid in the region of about £80 to £85 for the tickets. But 25 to 60 or 70 doesn't seem like a bad sort of shout to me. So I will be getting tickets to this. This is for the end of 2027. I'll be getting my 2027 shows booked in relatively soon. So that is the tour element of it. It does say there's more dates to be announced as well, so that is just the first 6 stops. It may be doing more of the UK. I can't imagine they will be the only UK stops, because that is cutting out a lot of the country, and it won't have gone to Wales at all. And there are plenty of places in Wales that they could do this. So there's the Millennium Centre, which I've been to see multiple things. I will say I don't know how it would go there, but there's things like the ICC, which is the International Convention Centre, and there's other theatres that could hold it. It would be a shame if they're doing this world tour and they don't go to Wales. I'm only flying the flag for Wales because I am Welsh. I live in England, but I am Welsh. So growing up, my local theatre was the Millennium Centre in Cardiff, and that does get some incredible touring shows. So luckily I was able to see loads of theatre growing up, and I still go back a lot to go to that theatre because it's such a good theatre that I don't think there's a bad seat in it. So it's well worth going to see things there. But it always makes me a little bit sad when I see Wales get sort of left off the touring circuit, especially with a show that would do so well there. Like, this show was expensive to see in London, and it was in Wembley as well, so it was slightly further out. It was more difficult to get to. You couldn't really do it as a day trip unless you did like a matinee, because getting back from Wembley, especially if there was anything else going on, was a bit of a nightmare. So a lot of people who would have liked to have seen this show when it was first on probably wouldn't have got the chance. It did sell well towards the end of the run. I know they were doing some pretty crazy deals on tickets and like including programs and stuff, which they weren't doing at the beginning, but it did overall sell really well. And like I said, it did have the fan base, and especially with such a dedicated younger fan base who can't go to London by themselves or don't have the money or the opportunity to, it would be a real shame to cut them out. And that doesn't just go for Wales, that goes for anywhere else that this tour kind of doesn't cover. There's a lot of England not included in this, a lot of sort of Ireland, Northern Ireland as well, not included. So I would imagine that these are just the first 6 dates, and I'm not denying that it's probably incredibly difficult to find places that are willing to take a chance on a show this big that's going to need so much sort of specialist equipment and setup and all that stuff. So that is everything I've managed to find out about the tour so far, which is nothing that isn't like readily available by a Google. That is all on the Starlight Express tour website. So if you did want to get tickets, head over there. Like I said, Southampton goes on sale Friday. I don't think any of the others are actually on sale at the moment. Some of them are on like member pre-sale for the venues, so just keep an eye out. So what really interested me about the comment. Oh, I've just noticed how awful the lighting is. So what really interested me from the comment that I got on my last video about this show was the idea that the show will have changed a lot since it was first seen. Because obviously whenever a show comes back out, it makes sense for like edits to be made for things that didn't work, or updates, or what have you. But when I looked at the Starlight Express past cast recordings, because obviously this is the only version I've seen, so the only thing I really have to go off is previous cast recordings. There's 2 other ones apart from the current or the most recent update on Spotify, so I've just had a look at them. And this show has changed pretty drastically since it was first produced. Just a quick little FYI, I did actually see a version of this as an amateur production in Newport. So the theatre that I grew up doing sort of dancing and musical theatre in was the sort of city's main Amdram theatre, and one of the other local groups put on a production of Starlight Express on roller skates, and it was really it was really good. Like, they all learned how to roller skate, they were fantastic. But that was the only version of this show that I'd seen, so it was like the only context I had. And I'm pretty sure the version of the show that they did was the 2007 revival version. I think it's a revival, but the 2007 album is called The New Starlight Express, so I think that's the version that they must have licensed. But yeah, I will put up on the screen a visual of what I'm about to go through, because it will get very wordy and very confusing. So in the original version, so this is the original, the 80s version, we had an overture, the song Rolling Stock, Call Me Rusty, A Lot of Locomotion, Pumping Iron, Freight, AC/DC, He Whistled at Me, The Race, There's Me, Papa's Blues, Belle the Sleeping Car, Starlight Express, The Rap, Uncoupled, Rolling Stock Reprise, CB, Right Place, Right Time, I Am the Starlight, He Whistled at Me Reprise, The Race, No Comeback, One Rock and Roll Too Many, Only He, Only You, and Light at the End of the Tunnel. Now, a lot of those songs I recognise, a lot of them I've heard but aren't in the current version, and one that really reminded me of something is the song CB. So that used to be sung by a character called the Red Caboose, which is not in the current version. That character, I believe, is what then became the character Slick, who sings a song in the current version called Wide Smile in the current version, which isn't on the cast recording, but it is, from what I remember, pretty much exactly the same song, just with the words changed. Just a little side note. The 2007 version had the overture, the entry of national trains, which is a massive change from the original, because that was when the idea of each of the trains representing a country came in, which did then leave again for this version. We've got Rolling Stock, He'll Whistle at Me, which is a different song to He Whistled at Me, Freight, AC/DC, Pumping Iron, Coda Freight, Crazy, Make Up My Heart, Race 1, Papa's Blues, Race 2, Starlight Express, The Rap, Uncoupled, Race 3, Right Place, Right Time, Starlight Sequence, Race 4, Next Time You Fall in Love, One Rock and Roll Too Many, and Light at the End of the Tunnel, and the Megamix. So that was the first time the Megamix came into it. The version we've got this time is so different in places that it almost doesn't even bear a resemblance. So we got overture and entry of trains, not entry of national trains, Rolling Stock, Crazy, Call Me Rusty, I Am Me, which was a new song for this production, Whistle at Me, Freight, AC/DC, Pumping Iron, Coda Freight, Make Up My Heart, Race 1, Mama's Blues, because Papa in this one was Mama. I don't know why, it worked, it was great. Race 2, Laughing Stock, Starlight Express, The Rap, Uncoupled, Wide Smile, Race 3, Starlight Sequence, Hydrogen, again a new character that came in for this version of the show, Pre-Race 4, Race 4, One Rock and Roll Too Many, I Do, which is another new song, Light at the End of the Tunnel, the finale, which I believe is the Megamix. Music credits here where I Do is music by Alistair Webber, lyrics by Nick Kohler, and I Am Me written by Lauren Aquilina. So some new songs there by new people. I do think those songs are noticeably different from the rest of them, the ones that have been seen before, the ones that were just done by Andrew Lloyd Webber and I don't know who the original lyricist was. Richard Stilgo? I think he must have been the lyricist originally because there's no other lyricist named. But yeah, there's a couple of those songs are new for this production by new people, and it does kind of show, but it doesn't take you out of it. You just sort of notice these songs probably came in slightly later. I keep looking down because I've got my laptop set up as a screen, and the lighting in this video is going to be horrific. Sorry about that. There's nothing I can really do because the clouds have just moved, so the light is coming directly through my window and into my eyeballs, so I can't really see anything, but it is what it is. So yes, I will have made a graphic of those song titles and the sort of order they come in. A couple of them are the same but just mixed around a bit, but like I said, there's characters that disappear, there's storylines that disappear. The version we've got now is very sort of eco-focused, which is a bit strange. It's a show where the main character Rusty is a steam train and we're all supposed to be rooting for him, so it's strange to be rooting for a steam train when they're trying to push this really environmental message. Also, now that I think about it, the whole thing is sort of be true to yourself, and then at the end he links with hydrogen and changes his fuel source, which kind of goes against the be true to yourself kind of element of this. But it's a show about anthropomorphic trains, so I don't think we can look too closely into it or hold it to sort of super strict morals, because that just doesn't really work when you're talking about trains. Looking forward to when this show does go on tour, I'm just going to say I'm going to recommend everyone goes. It is a really good show. It's really impressive. It's visually impressive. It's a show that you know is going to be a spectacle. And I think that about a lot of the 80s mega musicals. This is actually something I'm really interested in, is like the rise of the 80s mega musical and the sort of theatrics of the whole thing. Is they're always going to be big. You're always going to have really incredible music because it will have come from one of the composers that we still all know. So like your Andrew Lloyd Webbers, maybe Stephen Schwartz came slightly later, but it's just going to be big. The set's going to be impressive. The costumes are going to be impressive. It's going to have a gimmick. Every mega musical had a gimmick. Phantom of the Opera had the chandelier that falls. Les Mis had a massive barricade. This has actors on roller skates. So you're not going to be disappointed by going to see Starlight Express. It's also not a super heavy show, so if you've got, like I said, it's got a massive younger following, so if you've got children, younger siblings, nieces, nephews, whatever, they're going to enjoy it too. It can be a nice thing that you can all go and see. My sister loved this show. She's 8 years younger than me, so she is she's not a child, but she is younger and she did love this show. But it's also great for like the nostalgic people as well, so people who did go and see this in one of its other forms are probably going to really enjoy coming to see it again, because you are still getting the same music in some form. Like I said, they do change, the songs do change around a bit and the lyrics have changed and some of the stories changed, but you will still get like the big songs that everyone knows, and you'll be able to sort of see for yourself where things might have changed or what might have switched around. And I'd also be really interested to hear, once this sort of goes out to more people on a national tour or a world tour, as it says, I'd be really interested to hear from people who saw it before to see which version they prefer, whether they like the version as it is now or whether they would have liked to have seen the old one come back out again. I think that's really interesting because obviously I never got the chance to see it before. But I think that is probably where I'm gonna leave this video, just because there's no point in me doing like a full in-depth review of it now, because like I said, the version I saw was closed, and until we hear more about the touring version, I don't really want to sort of speculate too much. I would keep an eye on tickets, because I feel like as soon as they do go on sale, a lot of these venues are going to sell out. Like I said, they're weirdly short runs in each of these venues, so it would be worth getting your tickets sooner rather than later. I will definitely be getting tickets to the tour, so maybe I'll do an updated version when we start seeing more from the tour, or when I do get the chance to go, which will be the end of next year. Hopefully I'll still be making videos. But yeah, if that's something you would like to see, give me a follow, subscribe on here. Follow me over on my TikTok as well. I've started making more videos there. I have 2 different Instagram accounts. I've got one that's more like personal day-to-day life stuff, one that I talk about books and theatre. Same with my threads. I've got one where I talk about sort of personal things, one where I talk about work and theatre and all that good stuff. So I will leave the links to all of those down below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. If you have any other things that you'd like me to talk about, do leave a comment. I'm always happy to talk about shows I've seen, especially if they're ones like this, which I'm particularly passionate about, or they're having a sort of a resurgence, or they're about to go on tour, or something big has just come out about them. But I am pretty much happy to talk about anything. I will be doing more vloggy content as well if you enjoyed that. I know a lot of people have subscribed based on my Brighton video, so I'm thinking of doing some more day trips, places that you can do sort of solo day trips or like long weekends. I'm thinking of keeping the weekend diaries going. I like the weekend diaries. They are fun, they force me to do stuff, and it just means I'm getting in the habit of filming and editing and uploading. I'm thinking it'll probably be, if I can think of a video like this to do in the week, it'll be one of these, and then the weekend diaries go up on a Sunday evening, because that just sort of rounds out my weekend nicely. This coming weekend is actually a bank holiday, so it might turn into the bank holidays diaries, so you might get a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I do have some things planned, so it would be nice to record that. That'll probably be the next video. After that, I'm not 100% sure, but like I said, if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye.